I think I even cried that night. I was just in awe. It was like a moment I sat back and was like, this is what this is about. This is not about like a fame.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the Elation podcast today, where we enjoy exhilarating euphoria through creation and collaboration. We are here today with Bobbi Rae.
Hello.
Why do I feel like that name is so attached to me already? I don't understand.
I love it. That was definitely the goal.
What a great name, Bobbi Rae.
Yes.
Yeah, where did your name come from? Let's just start there.
Let's start there. Me and this girl had this group called Bobbi Blue. She was Blue, I was Bobby, like Bobby Blue Band, Blue Bland, and it's kind of like this, like kind of jazzy duo thing that we did. And this is even before I picked up the guitar. She was the guitarist, I was the singer, and a little later, she had, unfortunately, her mother had passed, and she just kind of stepped away from doing music and stuff. And we were in high school.
Like, right.
Junior high when we started.
Yeah.
Early high school. And the management that I had at the time, that was just kind of helping me cultivate my creative spaces. He was like, man, Bobbi, like, we got to keep Bobbi. And so when we were thinking about a name, like moving forward, he was like, what's a name that if they didn't see you, it's intriguing. They want to know who you are. We just going through different names, and then Rae came later. It's Bobbi Rae.
Bobbi Rae.
Because you don't know who's walking in the door.
I mean, great name. Absolutely great name. And that's, definitely one of the big points of being an artist is you got to figure out a name.
Yeah.
I know. So I produce music,
okay.
But unfortunately I have been unable to find my own producer name because I can't find anything that's not corny to me.
What are some names you've come up with?
Oh, God. I don't even know if I've come up with them. It's friends that have come up with them for me.
Okay. At least two.
Devastating D was the worst one.
Devastating D?
Yeah, I mean, David Adams, and I don't know why that Devastating D was the worst name that they came up with, for sure.
I'm trying to understand the devastating part.
Because I beat up beats. I don't know, like that was what it was said to me.
Okay.
It's not my thing. I didn't come up with it. Please no.
Okay.
But yes, that was probably the worst one that came up to me. I end up using just Elation as a tag.
Okay.
Because so my name, David Lee Adams is my name. So like I everything I come up with, like that's like a little bit like of that feels like not the right move. And then when I just say the whole name, I feel like a president. I don't feel like a producer.
David Lee Adams sounds like a tag to me.
So that's what everybody that. But I feel weird just using my name.
No, that actually sounds like
all right.
Really
all right, listen, Bobbi Rae. I might just listen and finally just say screw it. I'm going with it.
Yes.
But let's dive into you a little bit, and let's digress about me. Let's dive into you a little bit. Where you from, and then tell me all your origin story.
Let's talk about it. I am from Slidell.
Okay.
Slidell.
Oh, Slidell. Slidell right in.
Yes. I was born in New Orleans, but raised in Slidell, really Lacombe, if y'all know where that's at.
Okay, all right.
Kind of bayou area between Mandeville and Slidell.
Absolutely.
My mother is from Nassau, Bahamas. My father's from Louisiana.
Oh, awesome. We love the Bahamas.
We love Nassau.
We love the Bahamas.
I was homeschooled to the 6th grade.
Okay.
My mother, both mother and father, college graduates. My mother was an educator as well as a therapist, and she decided to homeschool her children because initially didn't really believe in the public school system.
Don't blame her.
Yeah. So had a really amazing childhood, like very blissful childhood.
How did you manage friends being homeschooled?
That's why I'm still a little awkward now.
I mean, I haven't noticed yet. But
so there was this thing called like co-op. And maybe once or twice a week we would go to this co-op, and it's all the homeschool kids come together. Not saying we really became friends, but we were like doing like sign language classes together, Spanish classes together, and then you go back home.
I got you.
And you only go for like 2 hours.
Because homeschool. So I'll give you a little bit about me after we finish this conversation, because I had a similar experience at the end of my high school years.
Okay.
But you have no sports, you have no recess, you have no lunch period, you don't have those moments of getting to know people, kids back to forth. So like I feel like it's very difficult to build relationships.
I think that maybe the way you did it after high school makes more sense. I think during primary years, I think it's important to have those interactions of like real life scenario. Like kids are mean, and you need to figure that out.
Bullies are a big important part of life.
Yes,
and I listen, this participation trophy life we live in is. Yeah. Anyway, it's different.
Okay, I don't know what I can and can't say.
No, you can say whatever you want.
Screwing kids.
Oh,
okay.
100%.
Okay.
No, 100%. Yeah. Competition is the healthiest part of life.
Yes.
And people win, they lose, they live and they die. And if you don't understand the win-lose part, you're not going to understand the life and the death of your final moments.
Well said.
Thank you. Yes. And so we need more competition in school. We need more things that make people strive to be better.
Yes.
Right.
And that and going into school, I was ready for it. I have a twin sister, and she just was not. Like, she was totally against. She's more reserved, but I was ready for the world. Like, but I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, I didn't realize how mean people were. I didn't realize like you say, competition, all these different things, but it did shape me. And I'm grateful that I was able to like start school in the 6th grade because I still had time to grow.
Right.
But it was very awkward. It was hard for me to make friends initially. I was so used to just me and my siblings. It's 5 of us. We played together,
So you were homeschooled till 6th grade?
Till 6th grade.
Okay. And then you went where?
Then I went to Pearl River.
Okay. Yeah.
And the school Creekside Junior High.
All right. So my family had a ranch in Poplarville for years.
Okay.
So I know all about Pearl River.
I know about Poplarville.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know Hart. What's the group of their name of their group? Danica Hart is the main singer. Chapel Hart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So me and Danica are really great friends.
Okay.
And that's where I used to go. Her and I was in a choir together.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I spent a lot of time in Poplarville.
All right. Yeah. All right. Great little town, man.
Yeah.
Great little town.
It's peaceful.
Yeah, absolutely. Blew up after Katrina.
Yes.
Yes. Well, okay. So, but keeping back to you.
Okay.
What led you to the Air Force?
The Air Force. Let's talk about it. So first year out of high school, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to college, and did 1 semester, realized how expensive college is. I already had a brother in the Air Force and one in the Army.
Okay.
And so after 1 semester of college, I was like, bro, this is expensive. Like,
what do I do?
Exactly. He was like, you should join the military. Air National Guard, pay for school, and you also getting a career, like starting somewhere.
Right.
Because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. When I started school, I went into broadcast journalism because I used to do it through high school. Like I did our morning announcements and things.
Okay.
But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So
so you were outspoken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't know it, but
Hey, listen, and maybe that was because you were held back from being outspoken for so long, and you became outspoken because, hey, I have a platform now.
Yes.
And that can turn into anything. So great adaptation into your new world.
I would say that.
Yeah.
And my first semester, I took like 2 speech classes, so that also helped me because I was just like, I'm so awkward. I don't want to be awkward.
Well, we all think we're awkward in the beginning.
I think
I mean, I don't like my laugh. I really don't.
Okay. Like, I don't like my talking voice.
Okay. Well, so yeah. But so
here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Right. And people tell me they love my laugh, and I'm like, okay, really? Okay. But so so we all have our own little issues.
So that's how military came about, and
so what specifically in the Air Force did you do?
My MOS was Knowledge Operations Management, which glorified bookkeeper.
Okay. Okay.
I worked under my commander.
Okay.
And,
so you flew in the planes?
No, didn't do the cool things.
Okay. Okay. Landed on no air carriers?
No, just people going on deployment. I was the person doing the paperwork.
Okay.
Making sure they had their medical in alignment, that kind of stuff. So
important role though.
It was important. Okay, it was. Yeah. Everybody that was deploying came to see me. Yeah. However, I just was like, man, I thought I was gonna be flying planes.
I mean,
I would have did security forces too, but that's just that was.
I mean, did you play video games growing up?
Not really. I was an outside kid, a real outside kid.
I said they could have thrown you into the drone situation,
That would have been cool. That would have been cool. My brother did like more like weather, what do you call the people that like control the weather and look at the weather?
Meteorologists?
Yeah, kind of like that kind of stuff.
All right.
But no, I just
like flying planes in the hurricanes and stuff like that?
Yes, and watching and making sure like as the planes are coming
and reading data and stuff like that. Okay, awesome. Very important.
I just was behind a desk.
No. Listen.
But it was an amazing experience.
Listen, taking care of the people that are going to do the important things is a very important thing.
Yes.
So making sure that they have their medical stuff like that, it's also a part of the important part of the process.
Yes.
But what inspired you to start music?
Oh, okay. So, like I said in high school, I kind of played around with it. Was in the choir, these kind of things, but still, like,
right?
Okay, it's cool, but this is something I really want to do. I started like going to the studio, started like hearing myself back. Have people like, yo, you can really sing, and I'm like, can I? Like not really sure, but I know I like to do this.
Right.
And then the same management I was telling you about, well, I say management, but he was a friend of mine just helping me cultivate my creative juices. And he had this festival, the Crab Fest. I don't know if you've heard of this in Slidell.
I feel like I have.
Okay, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Dude, but this
right. Yeah. Okay.
You probably seen the sign. But he was like, I have a spot, like you can, perform if you'd like. And, cause I've been playing my guitar. He would hear me, like I would sing for him and stuff, but I was like, I don't know. So he was like, I think you should do it. I was writing music, but still not ready to like put it out to the world. I was just doing it for myself. And he was like, I think you should do it. It was like a 15-minute slot, 3 songs. And I remember getting there and, seeing people, I'm like, oh, I got to do that. I was like, nah. Like I was like, look, I thought I wanted to do music. Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not do it. And he was like, no, like, let's do it. Like, you're going to do it. Called my name. I went up there. I was like so nervous. And I just remember just closing my eyes and like singing the original song that I wrote. And the crowd like standing ovation. Like, it was like,
oh, okay.
Y'all like me?
Right.
And that was like the first like endorphin boost I felt.
I got you.
And it was just like from there, I was like, I want to do that.
There's nothing like the fan experience.
But even outside of that, a woman from there invited me to come sing at Ochsner Hospital. And she was like, I like, the music you sing, like what you write about. Like, I think it's healing. So I started singing Ochsner for cancer patients. And then like children who were like, sick, not just cancer, but just children who were sick. And I would go every other Wednesday, the Ochsner right there in Slidell.
That's awesome.
And just even that feeling, I was like, yo, like.
It's very awesome that the hospital thought of alternative ways to make their patients better, because music is very healing in all senses of the word. I mean, I a little personal stuff about me. I mean, when my dad was on his ending path in the hospital, he was having full organ failure, so he was going through the visualizations that weren't there and not really, and all, the things that come with it, especially singing to people like that. I'm sure you've had some of those same issues. But the only moment of clarity we had on those last days was when I would play Bob Marley on my phone.
Yes.
And he wouldn't do much, but he would tap his toe.
Yes.
To the beat.
You see a spark.
And something would change in him a little bit, and he would feel it would make you feel like you're talking to him a little bit. So those healing moments are very precious. So it's awesome that you did that.
And that's honestly like that's what I wanted to do. Like I was like, I like this what I'm evoking in people. Like it wasn't about I never really cared for, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't know, this is subjective, but like toxic music.
Right. Right.
And I liked to talk about things that like uplifted people, even if it was things that was hard, like hard
Right.
conversations. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
know,
There's well, as long as there's a positive message in it,
yeah,
then you can talk about whatever you want,
yeah,
on that side. But yeah, no, music is something that it changes. I feel like it changes brain waves, it changes paths in your brain, as well as changes experiences of things.
yes.
So if you can do those, and especially in those last moments, I feel like it's very awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what? Let's see. There's a couple questions that I got, but I think we've passed a lot of them.
Okay, go however you go, and I'm flowing with you.
So yeah, Brazil. Let's talk about Brazil.
Okay.
What attracted you to the promoter from Brazil?
Okay.
How did all of that come into play?
Okay, let's go back just a little bit. Because before Brazil, I had moved to Dallas, Texas,
Okay.
to go to Media Tech, which is really in Farmers Branch. But
Okay.
I was living in a town called Las Colinas, but it's all same area. And this was when, like 2018, when I'm like, music was. I was in this similar to your space. It was a creative space.
Okay.
But it was a school. Many rooms, many areas. Everybody in there is there for music, film production, something creative.
Right.
So in that space, I started like meeting a lot of people, working with different producers, actually making like quality like music.
Right.
Not the one from my bathroom.
Yeah, 100%.
So
collaboration is one of the best ways to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Started doing a few things in Deep Ellum, and when I came back here in New Orleans, I was like, just doing like street performing, like busking and stuff like that, and really honestly feeling like coming from Texas back here, I felt like I wasn't like moving in any direction. I'm like, I'm doing some gigs here, but I don't feel like I'm being noticed. I don't know, like, yes, okay, a few $100s in the streets of New Orleans is cool, but like, right. I'm ready to do something major.
Well, and there's a lot of artists down here too.
Yeah, and that's another story. But this guy hits me up on Instagram. He's like, I really like your music, and I would like to bring you on this 14 city Brazilian tour. And I'm just thinking like, the scammers, and I'm like, no way. Like, so I kind of sat on it, and then he was like, what's your email? I'm gonna send you the details. So I sent the email, and he sent the details. And I'm going back and forth with my friend who was like, into like security and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't think this is the like, I don't know, I don't think this is a real tour. Damn. But then he started sending me like videos of like the last tour, and like, no, we we bring American artists here. We really like it.
Right, yeah.
He sent me the band that I would be playing with. He was like, this is Just Groove. They're Brazilian band. He's like, we want to bring you on tour. So as things went on, the exchange, everything, I'm sending my passport, this stuff, and the tour is booked, and I'm flying out to Brazil. And I was out there for 30 days, and we did 15 shows.
Wow.
And it was just the most amazing experience. Like,
I mean, traveling alone is a great experience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And that was the first time. My mother was terrified.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she also sent me off well. She was like, I know you'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and obviously Nassau is a far way away from Brazil, but Brazil is still an island experience, even though it's not an island. Yes. But it still has that same culture feel.
Yes.
So how was that for you to kind of, was that the first time, because you hadn't been to Bahamas yet? You hadn't been back?
I've been to the Bahamas.
Okay, so you had been out of the country already.
Yeah.
All right.
But that was the furthest I've ever been.
Okay, I got you.
And there's a whole language barrier. Like, in my ignorance.
Oh yeah, Portuguese is different.
I thought it was Spanish. I was literally just like, I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's hard. It's very hard because it's so much of everything else. It's Italian, it's Spanish, it's English.
But I flew into Sao Paulo. Okay. So that it's just straight Portuguese.
Portuguese.
And my promoter, he spoke a little bit of English, but literally I'm talking to the band with Google Translate.
Well, yes. So how did that go? Tell me about that experience. Like, because you had to translate moments of music, when to cue and when not to cue, and laughter, and so explain that a little bit.
That is the moment I realized what music, like when they say music is a universal language. Being in Brazil is when I realized what that really meant, because to perform in front of like people who didn't even speak my language, and just like the response and the tears, I'm like, yo, like, music is universal. It's a feeling. It's not, yes, it's the words too, but it's the feeling.
Right.
And even when I think about artists that are timeless artists, like that's like a Michael Jackson, he could go anywhere, and that it was a universe. It's universal.
He could have hummed a whole song.
Exactly.
And we would have,
it's energy,
loved it.
Yes.
Yes. And I mean, how many songs do you know that are classic? We don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like,
it's just a feeling.
It's just a feeling.
Al Green is just a feeling.
100%. I think Nirvana, Nevermind, that whole album. What the hell is he talking about? We don't know. The melody's dope. We're in it.
Right, and then you're zoned out.
You're zoned out.
I feel like it's whatever that frequency they did it on, whatever like energy was in the room that day, like all of that. Like, and then this band, like we're jamming, and it's like we're laughing together, and at the end, trying to say something, we can't even.
You don't even. It don't matter.
It was great.
Yeah,
that's all we know. Right. That was great. Let's do it again.
Right.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, what was your favorite moment on stage?
We were in the city, São Luís, and it was more northern Brazil, and it was like maybe on the ocean. It was a lot of water around there, and they had this outside dome like an amphitheater, and I think that performance was most emotional, where like the audience was like with me. Like, I think I even cried that night. I was just in awe. It was like a moment I sat back and was like, this is what this is about.
Right.
This is not about like fame. These people, like, they don't get that. The area's kind of rural, but it's rich.
Right.
But they don't get what we get here in America, like, so at our leisure.
Right.
Everybody came to that to see me. I'm blown away. Like, y'all don't even know me.
Right.
And it was a packed out stadium. And just that feeling of just like, this is why I'm doing music, for this feeling. And I would always end with the song "Stand By Me," just because that's a universal song.
Absolutely.
People, and they're singing with me, and it was like that. Like the band stopped the music, and it was just like we're singing like a choir.
That's awesome. Yeah, so. Yeah, those are definitely special moments. Then that definitely keeps you like moving.
Yeah.
Like in dark times, and low, because music is up and down.
Yeah.
So it's those valleys that you go through. You look toward the mountains of fans that you once had.
Yeah.
And continue that experience.
And it's really a feeling of a coming down after a high, because when I came back, I cried a lot because of so many things. Like, I just thought about how much leisure and how much like things we have here in America. Like, they're so grateful for it. And even though Brazil is rich and there's a lot of things going, there's also a lot of areas that's just like the slums.
Right. Absolutely.
Like,
no, when
houses slanted, and this is where people live.
When you travel, it opens up your mind to understand how good we have it, as well as different cultures, different things, and and I always felt like it showed me the importance of true life.
Yes.
Which isn't what we see daily in America. So like,
what has been your like realization of what is true life seeing?
Time. I feel like one of the things that you understand when you go to the islands and you go to these places is time does not move as fast. And it's because people care. People take their time with things, including little things.
Yes.
And I feel like they appreciate it more than we do. And life as a whole, like, life's not about waking up and doing your 9 to 5. life is not about a green piece of bill. It's about so much more.
And what happens in between.
And right, and I feel like they get it. They understand it.
And one situation that happened, because I talk to strangers. Like strangers are friends. But I met a woman out there, and she invited me over to her house, and she cooked me dinner. And again, in the rule, you're almost part of you's like, how do people live like this?
Right.
But this is their home.
This is their home, right?
And I remember, I told her I was gonna wash my clothes at the hotel. She's like, no, bring it here. Like we'll do it here or whatever. And so I get there and I realize like there's no washer and dryer.
Right.
In America we're used to a washer and dryer. And so, for a moment I had a moment like, how are you gonna wash this? Like I was, I felt like I was being very American.
Yep.
And it happened to rain the next day. So she had washed the clothes and she hung it up to dry, but it rained. And she was so hurt that she was like, no, she took her money to go bring it to this laundromat, which is expensive to them.
Right.
But I cried. When I got back to my hotel, I cried because I was like, how insensitive of me.
100%.
To think like, why don't you have a washer and dryer? But this is their life.
This is their life. No, and so I spent a lot of time in Dominican, and fishing down there, and I went up in the mountains and did some tours and stuff, and spent some time with some of the locals up in the mountains, and this is one of the things I think that shocked me the most, but it also was one of the things that makes me feel like we aren't doing things right. So Dominican does not have a homeless problem, or not a hunger problem. People eat no matter what in Dominican. Yes. And one of the reasons why is because they don't have refrigeration up in the mountains and the towns. You can go buy a quarter of a cucumber. That if you're not using the whole cucumber, because you have nowhere to store it.
Yes.
So you're going daily to your grocery store, you're buying things specifically that you need for that day, and you're only buying what you need of it.
Yeah.
And everybody else gets to do the same thing. So there's no waste whatsoever.
Yes.
And there's only one store on the whole mountain that everybody goes to, and that's just the way they live.
Wow.
And you sit there thinking about it, and you're like, man, that's smart.
That's smart.
Right.
I think about how many bananas go bad on my counter.
Right. 100%.
Let me buy this big old grocery list and I'm not even eating all these things.
No. And so it just makes you think, man, these little towns, they got it. They understand what life's about, what to do, and gratitude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, how often do you go back to the Bahamas?
I'll actually be going this December.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mother passed in 2021.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I buried her back home, and I try to go at least once to twice to 2 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, because her entire family's there. She's the only one that lived here in the States.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So were you were born?
I was born in New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah. My parents met in college.
Okay.
Then my mother went back home. My dad came back here. He was eager to pursue my mother and just kept sending her flowers and things. And he married in the Bahamas and then brought her back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She had 5 kids. Here we are.
All right. Oh. That's awesome. It's hard for a parent passing. I know. I had my dad passed, so I get it. It's difficult.
My mother and father too.
Oh, sorry.
But but I had beautiful parents, and they I understand life and death. I understand that we're all gonna reach that end.
Once again, you understand time and life and things, and things progress. You take the best you can from it, and you just move forward, right?
Yes, and I have so many beautiful moments that I that live within me.
Right.
So it's not a feeling like, yes, the loss was painful, but to keep going, it's so many things I think about.
There's so many things that you think about, like that they would want you just to move forward with. So and there's definitely a moment of like, if I don't move forward, I piss them off. So I'm not doing that.
Yes. I dream about them a lot too.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, no, I feel like that's healthy. I have my dad in a little urn at the house, and every now and then I'll pull him out for a movie and cheers him with a scotch.
Yes, I love that.
It's just it's all I got left, but you got to deal with it, know.
And they live within you.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah. How do you feel about, let's get back a little bit more into this artist stuff, because we're getting really personal.
I know.
And we can do that another time maybe. But how do you feel about content creation environment for artists here in the city?
Like now?
Like right now.
In this city or just period?
Let's do both.
Okay. Content creating as a whole, I feel that social media has made this now very impersonal. Like sometimes it feels like now we're creating for the like. We're creating to make sure like this appeases people, and it doesn't feel as authentic to me anymore. Is this angle right, that people will see the right angle, versus I think when social media wasn't as big, it was more about in the moment.
Right.
And someone may catch it on a camera.
Right.
It may have,
Right.
I think about those moments at Media Tech when we were just in the studio. Like, yes, social media was still big, but I just think about how that was real.
It was very natural in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's staged.
It's staged. Everything. Yeah. And I feel like if I want to make a video for Instagram, I'm feeling like, is the lighting right? I'm making sure like it feels impersonal. I'm actually off social media right now.
Right, okay.
So taking that break because I'm back in my creative bag.
Right.
And I need to get away from the things that like,
distract and give you things that are unauthentic.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And then here in the city, New Orleans is a very beautiful city, and I feel like when I'm outside of social media, I get a lot of inspiration in different parts of the city. So I think this is a very creative city, and I don't have too many issues creating here. It's just social media that
as a whole.
I felt like that was the thorn in my side. Like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Get creative.
Well, do you feel? And I have. So social media to me, I don't like as a whole, but, because I'm an '80s baby, so like truly, like AOL Instant Messenger was the last thing I was excited about. Like, you know what I mean? Like on that side, and everything else was just like, whatever. But I have a feeling that with all this AI stuff moving forward, AI comments, AI pictures, AI engagement. Why would I even want to be on a social media platform if it's a computer responding to me?
Exactly.
Like the whole point of it is a social interaction.
Yes. There's AI albums coming out of sounding like other artists. It's just like, I don't even know. Is like, is authentic music gonna die? Because I don't know what this is.
Well, I think the one thing that can't die is live music.
It's live music, yes.
So,
and that's my favorite thing to do.
Right.
Live performances, live music, yes.
It's the one thing that can't die.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me like, man, I don't care to post anything that a bunch of AI bots are gonna say something about, and then like I'm not even having real conversations with people, and that whole social media, it's just at that point it's just media. It's not even media. Social anymore.
I don't even think because now even the way the algorithms work, you're not even seeing all of like your friends' things, like people that you support. It's not even popping up.
No.
Like you have to search. It's just different, and it started to create a lot of anxiety. In me as an artist.
Really?
And I'm like,
well, the only thing I can tell you is what I keep telling all artists: go back to the trunk sale.
Yeah.
Go back to the person to person.
Yeah.
I want 100 people in my hometown.
Yeah.
I don't care about the 10,000 that are not.
Yes.
The 100 people will buy T-shirts. They will buy albums.
Yes.
They will buy hats. They will come to see you in the shows, and they will post and feel good about being where you are and feel connected.
Yeah.
And that's more important than anything else.
This one concert that I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with Kelly Love Jones.
Yeah.
It was her album release this year, and she invited about 20 people to her house, and it was listening to her album in the dark with
Sunglasses?
No, like mask.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was just purely listening. And that was one of the most amazing experiences. Like, I didn't even realize sensory wise how intense that was, because think about when you're listening to an album, right? Now you say, like, who's one of your favorite artists?
Oh God. Let's just say Lil Wayne for the
okay. We'll just say Lil Wayne, and I'm not necessarily a fan, but you're like, we gotta listen to this album. We're sitting here listening, but you can see my face, so I'm like, and making faces, and then you're like, you don't think it's as great as I think it is. But if you have blindfolds on, you're all listening, and all you have, like,
the sensory overload is different.
It's different, even when you're listening to people's explanation. Because after every song, she was like, so what did y'all think about this? What did it make you feel? You're listening without the judgment. Because I've been to listening parties where I'm looking around the room and like, oh, like they must not be feeling it. But if you can't see people's reactions,
it's your own natural reaction. So I've never done one that's blindfolded, but I've done one where it's all headphones. Okay. So like it was an art gallery actually, and there were stations, and you would go, and then you would hit, and then you hit play, and you would stay at the station and listen to the whole thing. And so everybody had their own reaction at their own time frame, I guess. Yeah. But also, the artist placed certain visuals in front of you in the art gallery if they wanted to. Okay. So it was kind of cool.
They would do it for you, or you would?
They would do it like the stations would be set up, like the songs would be at different art. Okay. So and it was only a 6-song EP. Okay. So like they had 6 different pieces of art, and you would go and you would listen in your own time to that song, and you would look at that piece of art the whole time.
But it would be the same visual.
Same visual.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it was kind of cool. It was almost like a wine pairing with your meal, you know. But blindfolded would be crazy, because I feel like anything you listen to with your eyes closed is
it was just so, I could feel it in my body. Like it was that's something I'm actually thinking about. Like I'm back in the studio and just back to creating, but I'm thinking that's something I want to do with releasing new music. Just because I get a lot of anxiety about releasing. I have so much music that I have not released because of this anxiety of like, what are people gonna think? How are they gonna respond? And I'm standing in my own way with that.
But we all are a little bit as creatives. We all kind of dive in ourselves, you know. Well, so what do you have planned in the near future for releasing music?
So I have some music, some singles that I'm gonna release that will be an EP. I'm literally, after this, I'm headed to the studio. Okay. So it will be in the new year. I had some plans to release some things this year, but I just think anxiety and overload. This was a heavy year, and I'm like, it's okay.
Don't push it in the fourth quarter. Don't push it in the fourth quarter. It ain't worth it.
It's not worth it.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Wait till the next quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, that fourth quarter is always tough. I mean, especially for artists, because you're competing with holiday music,
and also competing with I don't know. I feel like the whole year, like, you kind of beat up yourself too. Like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's just not the right time. It always feels rushed when you do it in the fourth quarter. And then. And I also feel like it's spoiled, because by the time the first quarter comes next year, everybody wants anything different anyway.
They want something different.
So unless you're planning on having something for that moment, I
not
would
doing
not
a Christmas album. So no,
You know.
So I'm just in my creative bag right now. I'm okay with it. I had to come to that just realization and that okayness within myself, because again, especially when you have creative friends and you see what different people are doing, aka what's happening on social media, sometimes you start to like doubt yourself and like, why am I not moving fast enough, or why I'm not? But I just have to take my time, like, and that's just where I'm at.
I got you. Awesome. Well, good. Well, looking forward to it.
Yes.
So what do you feel brings elation to you in your life?
What brings elation? Musically, or just period?
Period. That elation to me, so it's my company, it's what I push in daily life. To me, it means peak happiness. So it could truly mean whatever brings that to you.
I know that my freedom to express daily brings me the most elation when I'm able to spend time with my family, and and not think about work and money and currency, and doing things that I love and bringing happiness to people and having great conversations. And like what you said earlier, realizing time, like what were you doing in that time?
Right.
I've learned to slow down and enjoy that in between. And as long as it's bringing happiness, freedom, and
it's not about the start and the beginning. It's about the journey, right?
Yes. Yep. So that journey with freedom included in that,
absolutely,
brings me happiness.
Awesome. Great answer. Great answer. Tell everybody, please, your socials, where they can find you, where they can find your music, and look forward to things coming out.
Yes. Do I need to look in the camera? Then we're looking at you.
Please look at the camera.
All right. This camera. All right. Y'all can find this one. Okay, we're here. All right. You can find me on all social media at The Real Bobbi Rae. That's TheRealBobbirae. And also my website, www.bobbyrae.com. That's how you can find me.
Awesome. Awesome. And again, I love the name Bobbi Rae. So awesome. Awesome for that.
Thank you so much for this interview.
Absolutely. No, I had a great time, great conversation. I appreciate it. Yes. And look forward to big things in the future for you.
Yes, big things. I'm going to have to come back to this space.
Absolutely. Please do.
Dope space.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Well, great. Well, thank you guys for enjoying the Elation podcast today. Please like, subscribe, and follow if you'd like to see more. Thanks so much.